This is episode 81 of How to Be a STEMinist. Today, I want to talk about how to set yourself up for success in the new year. Now, this is something that is a hot topic. I guess a lot of people start the new year with New Year's resolutions, really tough goals for themselves, things that they hope that they will achieve. And often, I'm sorry to say, it fails. It fails. I've been there before. Year after year, I'll set myself New Year's resolutions, and then by not even February, I've already failed at it. And I just stop. So how can you actually set yourself up to succeed in the things that you want to for the year from the get-go? And today I'll be talking about an approach that might be a little bit different to what you're used to in terms of setting New Year's resolutions or how you want to start your new year afresh. I hope it is helpful to you and interesting as a different kind of way to approach it.
This is the How to Be a STEMinist podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany, a proud woman in STEM. To me, being a STEMinist means creating a wildly fulfilling career without compromising your family or social life. Because when you love your whole life, you become a living example that a career in STEM is where it's at. I'm on a mission to equip women in STEM around the world with strategies to take back control of their career progression, navigate those difficult and awkward gender equality issues, and stop balancing work with life and start enjoying it. If you want to learn all the things no one else teaches you about being a woman in STEM, you've come to the right place. Let's get stuck in.
Hey, I am so glad you could be here with me today. Thank you so much for tuning in or watching on YouTube if that's your platform of choice now that I'm doing video podcasts. I am really excited to talk about today's topic about setting yourself up for success in the new year, because it is something that I think so many people dread. They feel like they have to set a New Year's resolution. I mean, this was definitely a topic of conversation around the dinner table for my New Year's Eve. I had some friends around for dinner and drinks, and we kind of started talking, what are your New Year's resolutions? What are you going to do more? And I think there were kind of a few different things that came, like a different, how should I say this? Different kind of like emotional reactions that I saw from people. So I've got one friend who he's really good at sticking to things that he wants to do. You know, he'll get up early and exercise if that's an aim of his. So he had no trouble at all kind of saying what he wanted to do. So he said that he wanted to spend more time on himself, to give himself some more time and space. You know, he just had a baby over the previous year and it was very intense with looking after a newborn. But now that things have kind of settled, he really wants to focus on his own mental well-being, his own time. And that's something that's really important to him. So he had no trouble saying that at all to others. I would say that everyone else around the table kind of they didn't dare to say what was on their mind in terms of New Year's resolutions. They thought that I think they kind of dodged the question, which is really interesting. And that's something that I noticed probably more than others, just because of my line of work as a coach. So yeah, I just found that really interesting. And I know that for some of them, because I know these friends quite well, for some of them, they didn't say what was on their mind for a number of reasons. One of them would be, I know at least one of my friends, she definitely would not have even thought about this at all. It's just she does things on the go, on the fly. She doesn't really think too much about her aims in the future. She's very much like, okay, this needs to be done now. I'm just going to get it done. There's another friend of mine who She doesn't, I guess she doesn't think that much about personal development at all. You know, that's not something that is important to her at this stage of life. So I also knew she wouldn't have really thought of anything either. And she's also had quite a busy year last year. I think this year she probably just wants to relax and spend some time with her family. Now, there are other people around the table who I know that they didn't say anything when we asked what your New Year's resolutions were because they were afraid of failing. Yeah. Can you relate? I certainly can. You know, sometimes when you tell your friends your goals, you're kind of afraid of a couple of things, aren't you? You're afraid that, okay, what if I say this and I don't keep to it and people laugh at me? You know, I'll be the butt of the joke. They'll be like, oh, well, I thought you said you weren't going to drink all of January, or I thought you said you were going to exercise a lot. And now look at you. You know, we're afraid of being made fun of for failing, right? So if we don't kind of say anything to other people, then how will they know that we've failed? They can't make fun of us then. The other reason is possibly that they're afraid to mention it to other people because they haven't fully committed to it themselves. They're afraid that they actually not, you know, a step further before being made fun of for failing. It's like they haven't even committed to themselves that they will follow through. It's kind of something that they want to do, you know, this New Year's resolution of drinking less or exercising more, or I don't know, spending more time with family or friends. They have it as a preference of something that they would like to do, but they haven't really committed to themselves. They're like, it's kind of something that I would like to happen, but you know, if it doesn't happen, it's not that bad. It won't really affect me that much, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know who do you think you would have been around the table, or would you have had a different emotional reaction altogether? You know, have you thought about something you want to achieve in the new year or improve in yourself in the new year, but you haven't had the guts to tell other people? You haven't had the guts to admit it to yourself yet or confirm it to yourself? I don't know. What do you feel? So for me, you know, I can only comment on things that haven't worked for me personally and have worked for me, and also what's worked for my clients. These are kind of personal realizations that I've had. So I'm going to share a method that, a method of setting yourself up for success in the new year that I have seen work. And I hope it works for you as well. Maybe you'll take some tips away from this. Maybe you will follow it to a T. I'd love to know what you think and whether this is an approach that you've taken before. So this episode is going to be quite an interactive one. If you are able to reach, I don't know, a piece of paper and a pen, please do. Please get that ready. So hit pause, get some paper and pen out. If you're listening on the go, maybe these are questions that you can ask yourself after you've finished walking the dog or you've finished picking up someone in your car. But yeah, this is definitely an interactive one. I want you to come away. It's kind of like a mini workshop, I guess. I want you to come away from listening to this episode with a really solid plan of attack. Okay, so here's the difference. I don't set New Year's resolutions anymore. I know. I choose a theme. I choose a theme for the year. I think that for me, this works better than a New Year's resolution. Because a New Year's resolution is usually like an action that you would take. So do this less or do this more. Or if you're really good at setting goals, it's a SMART goal. So it's measurable, it's really specific, it's an action that you take. So there's a bit of a difference. A theme is like an overarching a topic or a theme for the year for yourself. A New Year's resolution is something that you do or you don't do. Hopefully that made sense. So choose a theme for the year. And I think if you want to get into how to choose a theme, what you need to do is really think about the type of person you want to become. So, for some people, they will say, oh, my New Year's resolution is to go for a run 3 times a week. Okay, so that's an action, but what's the theme behind that? Why do you want to go for a run 3 times a week? So, step back further. Is it, I want to be the type of person who has the discipline to get up and exercise 3 times a week? Or is it, I want to be able to fit into a wedding dress at the end of the year? Or is it, I want to become the type of person who, exercises so that her mindset is clear, so that her body is able to be strong enough to look after their children or to run after their dogs? Or what is it? What is the type of person you want to be by the end of the year? What differences is it? So I had a really long, hard think about this, and I thought many things like, I want to become more positive. I think most of my friends already say I'm quite a positive thinker, but I know over the last year, things have been a bit more difficult mental health wise because I've been learning how to live with a baby, a new focus in life, and, my own time and mental health had to go to the wayside for some points. This year, I am back on track. Things are really stable in terms of schedule with my son. I've got a good work schedule now. I've got the whole year to myself to sort things out for myself. So, I thought about positive thinking. I want to be more positive and optimistic. I want to achieve certain things in my business. I want to be better somehow with my physical exercise because I don't have a routine at the moment, apart from playing tag rugby every Wednesday. I want to do more meditation. So these are kind of like, things that I want to do. But when I thought about why do I want to do these things? What is the type of person I want to become? In all honesty, I want to reach that next level of personal development. I want to be a calm and collected and confident person. I want to be an amazing coach to my clients. I want to be an aspirational business leader. And I want to have fun doing it. I want to be the type of person who you look at and you're like, wow, she's having so much fun all the time. I want to be around her energy. So these are the things, that next level up. These are the things that I want to become as a human. So in terms of my theme for the year, I've actually chosen 2 because I couldn't narrow it down anymore. So one is fun and the second is next level. So fun, pretty self-explanatory. Even when things are tough or if I'm doing things that are seemingly boring, how can I make them more fun? How can I make them more enjoyable? How can I bring more joy and spontaneity into my day-to-day life and with my family life? How can I make sure that I am that fun mum for my son, fun to be around even after a tough day at work for my husband, that fun friend, and how can I just have more joy in myself? So that's fun. The other one, next level, I need to explain this a bit. Next level, and I think I might do a podcast episode about this topic separately. Let me know if you're interested. But next level means, what is that future Tiffany going to look like? And I really want to step into her essence. I know that sounds a bit like lame, but The next level tip. Who is she? What does she wear? How does she hold herself in conversation? How does she walk down the street? When someone sees her at the coffee shop, what do they think of her? How does she run her business? And I've created a really specific view of what this next level Tiff looks like, or future Tiff looks like. And I'm just going to start acting like her now. So sometimes there'll be, frustrations that happen. So for example, this morning, I took something out of the freezer to defrost dinner. This is going to sound really trivial. I took something, it was fish cakes out of the freezer for dinner. And my son was playing with them on the floor, and then he started having a whinge because he was hungry. So I put him in his high chair, gave him some food, and I totally forgot that the fish cakes were on the floor. I went, so my husband took him to nursery, my son to nursery. I went upstairs for a shower, and when I came home, the dogs had eaten the fish cake, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so annoying. It really got up my grill. I was so angry, so annoyed at myself, so annoyed at the dogs. I felt like I had failed because I should have picked them up. Anyway, so I really had to rein it in and think, what would future Tiff do? Future calm, collected, confident, doesn't get rustled by anything. What would she do and think and say and feel in this moment? And I just channeled her. So this is definitely a topic I'll do in future for a podcast episode. So that's what next level means to me. And also in terms of, my business, I really want to take my business goals so much more seriously. I think beforehand I had thought about my business goals as wishes. But really they're goals. I used to take my, when I was employed as an engineer, I used to take my goals, at work so much more seriously than I took my business goals. And I think it was only recently that I realized that. So I'm going to, take it to the next level. And then once I've taken it to the next level, how can I take it even further? How can I make it more serious? How can I make my wishes come true? And, what are the things I need to do? What are the things that top level business owners do? And how am I going to channel that? So that's what next level and fun means to me. So this is something that I want you to do. Choose a theme for your year. What is your theme going to be? Once you've chosen them, please do let me know. You can either message me on Instagram or take a screenshot of this podcast episode if you're listening on your phone and share it on your stories. What is your theme for the year? Once you've chosen your theme, you need to ask yourself, what does this look like? What does success of these themes look like to you? So I talked a bit about what success looks like to me already. So this is something I want you to spend some time either journaling about or really having a good hard think about. What do these theme words look like once you've achieved them? So be really specific. It can be, I think the things that you need to cover are, how will you feel? What are the things that you will do? So these are kind of where traditional New Year's resolutions will come in. What are the actions that you'll do to make these themes happen for you in the year? How will you feel? And just think about how will it happen? Is it something you need to build towards? Is it something you can start right away? What is the smallest step that you can take right now? Okay, so far we have chosen a theme. We've asked ourselves, what does this look like? Next is you need to ask yourself, why is this important to you? This is a step you cannot miss. And it's a step that a lot of people miss. They'll say, I want to go for a run 3 times a week. But if they've not connected it to something deeper inside them, then it's really easy to fail. If you really connect it to something like, I want to be able to have the energy to run after my 2-year-old, because otherwise I won't be the mum that I want to be. For example, that is so much more meaningful than I just want to get these 3 runs done a week. Yeah. So why is it important? Connect it to something super deep and super meaningful to you. For me, fun and next level, why are they important? I guess I touched on them before. I want to, no matter what is happening externally, either in the wider world, in my work, in my husband's work, with my son if he's ill or he's going through anything at nursery, for my friends as well if they're going through a tough time, I want to make sure that I am fully 100% present and there with them. And in order to do that, I've decided that I need more fun in my life. I need to be able to let loose, have a really good time, and bring that lightness and joy in my own life so that can radiate into other people's lives around me. And next level, why is this important? Because there are things I want to achieve. There are things that I really want to achieve. And if I achieve them, I will be so proud of myself. I will feel free. I will feel so much abundance, and it will just bring me so much joy. So fun and next level, they are so important to me. And I hope that kind of explains a little bit why. Okay. 4th question you need to ask yourself, what might get in the way? What might get in the way of you achieving these themes in your life? How might you forget about them? What might happen to make these things go to the wayside? Okay, another really important question you need to ask yourself. The reason you need to know now what might get in the way is so that you can plan for them when they happen. And they will happen because challenges happen to all of us. Bombshells get thrown our way, and maybe there'll be things that get thrown our way that we could never have predicted at the start of the year, but at least we've come up with some plan so we can control what we can control. So what might get in the way? What are some typical things that will get in the way? Things like maybe an extended period of illness might mean that all your focus goes towards either looking after your own health or someone else in your family. And so you need to drop everything, all your personal goals, everything that you've thought about for your themes for the new year. You kind of just need to drop them and go into survival mode. Or you might go through a difficult period in your relationship, or you might go through financial difficulty. If you kind of get into the place where you have to go into survival mode for any period of time during the year, write down what those things might be. And then the last question is, how can you overcome those, or how can you lessen the effect of those things? So if it is, okay, well, maybe, I know, you might say, I know someone in my family is really ill and there's a possibility that I will need to drop everything and go and look after them for a period of time. Then write that down as what might get in the way. And then what can you do to overcome those or lessen the effect? So you might not be able to overcome it because, your family member's ill. You can't really do anything about that. But maybe what you can overcome, how you can lessen the effect of it, is to plan in like 10 minutes every week where you can do some, self-care work, or go for a walk once a day. How can you get the support for that? Maybe you can team up with another family member or your partner or a friend who can look after that family member for 5 minutes a day where you go for a walk. So it can be as small as that, or it can be a huge plan that you've got in place to lessen the effect of things that might get in the way. Okay, so I hope that this has been an interesting foray into how my brain works in terms of setting yourself up for success for the year. To recap what those questions were, in case you want to have a bit more of a think about it, the first was to choose a theme for the year. What is your theme going to be? I'm really interested to know. Please let me know. The second is to ask yourself, what does this look like? You know, these themes in your life, how will they play out in your life? How will you feel? What are the specific things that you will do as a result of these themes? Third is, why is this theme so important to you? Fourth is, what might get in the way of you achieving these themes for the year? And the fifth one is, how can you overcome those things or lessen the effect? Has this been interesting to you? I always love to hear how other people set up their year, and maybe I will do another episode partway through the year to recap on this, revisit my own themes, and encourage you to revisit yours as well, just to track how things are going. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could help me share the love by either sending this episode to a friend or providing a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, or giving it a like and subscribe on YouTube if that is where you're watching. I hope that this has been insightful, useful, and I really can't wait to hear more about your own themes for the year. So please get in touch on Instagram and let me know what they are. If you are wanting to do some deep work on yourself this year, if you are also, like me, wanting to get to that next level version of yourself, you want to have that accountability from someone, and you want to be able to have a really clear plan in place for you to continue working on yourself and becoming that next level version of yourself for your career success, or if you're a business owner, for your business success, and in turn to really benefit your family and your social life at the same time, do get in contact. My private coaching slots are available at the moment to start for this year. So I will leave a link in the show notes below as to how you can get in contact with me. And otherwise, I really look forward to catching up with you again next week. Bye.